Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be the second in my Does It Cover series, where I test out and review full coverage foundations to see if they are as full coverage as they claim to be. For today's Does It Cover video, I'm going to be reviewing a foundation that is very near and dear to my heart. It is the Dermacol Makeup Cover Foundation. You've probably seen this foundation all over social media within the past year, I'd say. You can purchase this on Amazon for around $12 to $13 depending on the seller. There is 1 ounce or 30 grams of product in each bottle. It claims to be waterproof, hypoallergenic, extreme full coverage, suitable for all skin types. It has an SPF of 30 and it is preservative free. This brand does have a website, but you can't purchase it on the website for whatever reason. However, I'm going to read you the description for this foundation on their website. It says, the clinically tested extreme covering makeup cover was created as the first of its kind in Europe and one of the first in the world. The license for this foundation was eventually sold to Hollywood. It contains 50% pigment, which makes it a weapon against skin imperfections. Dermacol Makeup Cover provides perfect coverage even in thin layers and is the perfect corrector for dark under eyes, unpleasant spots, and skin blemishes. It completely covers acne, loss of pigmentation, post-surgical bruising, tattoos, etc. It may be used on the entire face or body for color correction, darkening or lightening the skin tones, and ensuring ideal balance. It is widely used as a professional makeup for photo or film shoots, modeling, and for festive occasions. There's 13 shades in this range, and I am shade 208, which is the lightest. Now there is a 207, but 207 is actually darker than 208, which is a bit strange. But I'm going to insert swatches of this foundation in comparison to a couple other foundations that I use that are the fairest in that shade range, just to give you a little bit of a comparison. So as you can see from left to right, we have the Dermacol Makeup Cover Foundation in shade 208. We have the Tarte Rainforest of the Seawater Foundation in shade Porcelain. Next to that is the Huda Beauty Evo Filter Foundation in shade Milkshake 100B. Next to that is the L'Oreal True Match Foundation in shade Porcelain W1. And then lastly, I just threw in the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in shade Fair just for another comparison because I do use that as a foundation sometimes. So that is what they look like all next to each other. These are my favorite foundations. It is interesting to see them next to each other because they all kind of have different undertones, but they all work for me. The Dermacol is definitely the darkest and the most pink toned, but if I mix one of the other ones with it, it does neutralize it pretty well, so it's not that big of a deal. But this is what they look like all next to each other. I do think that because of how much hype this product has received in the past year, that they should have added more shades to the shade range, but it's not that big of a deal. This is a foundation that I use every day because I do like a full coverage foundation, and like I said, it's 50% pigment, so a very small amount will go a really long way with the pigmentation. It'll give you extreme full coverage right off the bat. It is very buildable. I do wear this almost every day, and I do use another foundation to blend it out because of how thick it is, first of all, but also to neutralize the color because this is a little bit too pink for my skin tone. But for the sake of this video, I'm only going to be using this foundation, obviously, just to show you how full coverage it is and what this color looks like on someone as pale as I am. So let me bring you in a little bit closer to show you how it applies to my face. So the way that I always apply this foundation is by first putting it on my finger to warm up the product and then directly apply it to my face from my finger. And then I'll use a beauty sponge to blend it out. So I just put a little bit onto my finger. Honestly, I just start with about that size, and then I just kind of dot it around my face. If I am mixing this with another foundation, which is what I typically like to do, I'll obviously use a little bit less, but on days where I'm wanting more full coverage, I'll just apply the Dermacol and use a little bit more of it to get more of a fuller coverage if I'm not using a second foundation. I'm going to be using a regular beauty blender today. I'm going to just go in and blend it out. So as you can see, This foundation has more of like a dewy finish, I'd say. It's not so much matte. For someone with more oily skin like myself, I really suggest going in with a powder to really lock it in. The color is not like 100% my perfect match. I feel like this is a little bit more pink based and I have kind of more yellow to neutral undertones. And as far as the coverage on my birthmark here, as you can see, you can still see my birthmark, but what I do is I take, you know, another little pea-sized amount, and if you go directly in on top, I can show you how buildable it is. Wonders just with that one extra layer. Already that looks a lot better and a lot more concealed, and I would be happy with that, and then I would go ahead and finish the rest of my face. So this is a close-up of what it looks like applied to my skin. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my face, and then I'll be right back to give you my final thoughts. Okay, so to wrap it up, I really love this foundation. It is one of my favorites. I use it, like I said in the beginning of this video, I use it almost every day. A couple key points I want to go over, which I'm gonna start doing in each of these Does It Cover videos, just to kind of recap everything and give you my final thoughts. As far as smell, this foundation has no scent. There's really no fragrance added to it. Thickness, it is very, very thick. If you're not someone that likes like a really, really thick foundation, then maybe this wouldn't be for you. But like I said, if you use like a setting spray or just another more liquidy foundation to blend it out, it's really easy to work with. It's not cakey. When I blend it out, it doesn't streak. However, I will say if you use a brush to blend it out, I don't think it works as well as if you were to use a beauty blender or just any type of beauty sponge. I feel like the sponge is the best way to get the fullest of coverage and also just blend it out the best. You do get pretty decent coverage with one layer, but like you saw in the video, I did go in with a second layer, especially over my birthmark, to ensure the fullest of coverage, and it did blend out easily. It didn't leave those areas where I applied more product like cakey or anything like that. It doesn't crease. Other products blend really well. Powder sits on it very nicely. At the end of the day, it doesn't break up or get patchy or anything. So it is a really great foundation. It's the best full coverage foundation I think I've ever tried. And for the price, it is so worth it. You pay like 12, 13 bucks. It's gonna last you like at least half a year. If you're someone like me who wears foundation every day, this will last you like 6 months at least. But if you're someone that doesn't wear foundation as often, this will last you a really long time. So that is it for today's Does It Cover video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps me out. And then if you want to hit the notification bell below too, just so that you are notified when I do post videos. I post videos twice a week, every Tuesday and Friday. And as usual, in the description box below, I will be listing all of the products that I currently have on my face in case you were wondering. And yeah, that pretty much is it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in next week's video.